Yes, we have George Arby if you come to the podium.
Today is the 101st birthday of Malcolm X, a man I revere for his intellect, his intention, and his heart. A man who did not just talk the talk, he walked the walk under threats of death and never changed. He advised the higher ups in his religion to change some of their inadvisable behavior. He was targeted for that. He was maligned, he was ostracized, he was excommunicated, he was threatened with death. He continued to speak for regular people, and he never compromised or gave away his spiritual center. He stayed. He said he knew he would be murdered, but he was going to speak until they silenced him. And yet, his voice lives on. I have studied a lot of the things that he said to, lift Black people in particular. And he mentioned something maybe 60 or 70 years ago asking why do we go fight for a country that assaults our voting rights, which is happening now, tries to erase our history, which is happening now, and deprives us of equal education, which is happening now. I just find it very profound. And Joe Clark, Madam Mayor's great uncle, said Eatonville was founded on three principles: family, religion, and education. And I take religion more as spirituality, but education, education. And I feel like the things that he said then ring true today. I just wanted to mention him because I've heard more and more about him all the time, just reviewing some of his writings. And it's very inspiring. And I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Yeah, Ryan, okay.
I spoke, remember?
You want
I spoke at the last,
7:30?
I'm sorry, I did already, we're good.
That would be our last one for today.
We are ready for consent agenda. This is for the minutes in the consent. Agenda.
Yes, the minutes that you have before you printed, they have also been emailed to you as well. If there are any changes needed, we can always come back and amend it.
Do I have a motion for the approval of the consent agenda? So been moved in second. All in favor of approval of tonight's consent agenda signify with aye. Aye. All opposed. Consent agenda is approved. We will go ahead and insert the discussion from workshop regarding the nuisance abatement board. I will yield to the clerk and or vice mayor.
Okay, this item is being brought to you. I know we made some recent decisions about the Board of Adjustments as well as the Code Enforcement Board, which we will institute a magistrate for the Code Enforcement Board. And for the Board of Adjustment, those powers are being turned over to the planning and zoning. With that said, there is a board that have yet to be activated. It was established, but it has not yet been activated, and it is the Nuisance Abatement Board. I'm bringing this back before the council, and in your packet, it'll have all the information about what's the requirements of an officer. It will also give you information about the Nuisance Abatement Board. The purpose of me bringing this back to you is I would like to see that board active and implemented, and I'm bringing a recommendation for you all to consider maybe some of the individuals that were on the previous board to consider serving on the Nuisance Abatement Board. It requires 7 board members, which 2 are appointed by the mayor, the citizen of the town of Eatonville. But I wanted to bring this before you for consideration. And I do have the attorney who can speak more to code and the requirements of that particular board.
Are we listening to Attorney Shepherd?
Attorney
Yeah,
Shepherd.
I didn't know. I wasn't sure which attorney you were talking to. If that is me, yes. Yeah, I'll answer any questions you have.
Do we have any questions from the guys? Any comments? Yes.
This will also go, since we're in a public forum, I can say, Vice Mayor has come to administration on bringing forth a noise ordinance. And since we talk about bringing forth the noise ordinance with the nuisance abatement, it will all come in alignment for facilitation and all those things. That will be coming forth as soon as we can finish all the details.
Who hears our noise complaints as of now?
Also PD, correct?
Yes. Yes.
PD.
And the Nuisance Abatement Board is in collaboration with the Eatonville Police Department, and we will have to appoint a officer who will receive the complaints, and then the hearings will come forward. The code enforcement.
So with the nuisance and abatement, so mine was mainly based on
Lord.
the noise, the loud music, the
And we'll go
word
into
that,
this.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So what all is this going to cover, this nuisance and abatement, other than the noise ordinance?
Attorney Shepherd, can you answer that? Are you in a position to answer?
Yeah, repeat the question one more time. I'm trying to hear the sound through my phone, so I'm not hearing it well, but try it again.
They want to know what all does the nuisance abatement board cover outside of the noise ordinance?
Okay, so the answer is simple. It is whatever your code defines as a nuisance. So in addition to noise, it could cover things like if it was a special event that didn't have a permit, and that is, and assuming that is defined as a nuisance in your code, then that's something it could cover. It could cover any number of things depending on what you define in your code as qualifying as a nuisance. So noise is one of those, but it is not always the only one. That is up to you within the parameters set forth in the U.S. Constitution, which at least I tend to pay attention to these days. Those guys on the Supreme Court, not so much.
So I think I went through and wrote down when I went through and looked at what was already passed. It was talking about drug sales, deliverance, manufacture, or cultivation 2+ times in 3 months. Felony level drug possession where the site has prior history, criminal street gang activity, and I was going to Florida statute 874.03, stolen property dealing 2+ times in 3 months. Excessive noise exceeding 50 dBs residential, 55 dBms commercial nighttime, or 60 dBms commercial daytime, and violation of Florida statute 796.07 prostitution related. Those were the ones that were popping out initially. That was already passed. And chief.
I just want to emphasize someone gets understanding. The ordinance is not to a person, it's to the property. So you could have multiple drug arrests. It don't have to be the same person arrested. So.
Specific property.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So it's 307 East
That
Kennedy.
particular property area is a nuisance to the community and the public safety. So, we arrest Jim Jones Friday and Sally Johnson Thursday. It still complies to it. It doesn't have to be a person, it's the property itself. It's the company nuisance. That's the issue of it.
Yes.
And this was passed July of 2020. So we haven't enforced it since July 20.
Have we had any applicants to the board since July of 2020?
I don't think more than.
This board was established, but it was never active.
I'm talking about this for a while. It's never came to fruition. So hopefully we can move forward because I think it's gonna be a successful board in this community, especially with everything that we're dealing with in terms of all the problems that we're having. So hopefully we can 6 years later move forward with getting this accomplished. And the officer we select will be someone that's very diverse in the statute itself. So that they're able to train those people on the board to understand the law and how to also bring in what the county already has and things like that. So everybody's kind of understanding. Understand practice, yes, sir. Everybody knows. They understand what they actually are reading and understanding the verbiages and all those things like that.
And so just to, I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilman.
Yeah, can someone tell me what has been the most recent nuisance
Noise.
in the noise such as
Music, loud music and I guess inappropriate language. I think we have a lot of children around and some of the wording in there, I just don't think is something that needs to be played around our children. And I'm just gonna speak mainly of my neighborhood. We have children out playing, but then when I hear the music saying all kinds of things that should not be said in front of children, that is a problem for me and a nuisance.
And understanding that also, even if the person is, let's say, renting, then the direction will be going towards, even though it's the renter, we're definitely looking at the owner. So that's where the roots of the tree line, that's just low hanging fruit to us. And going back to the person that rents, that's one thing, we'll deal with them accordingly, but we're obviously going to push forward with code enforcement, and we're talking with other areas and try to see about getting the owner. That's the first one we want to deal with, because they're those ultimately. property owners.
Can you speak to whether or not, I'm sorry, Councilman, please, I'm
And
sorry.
the last one is this, I do remember, I believe it was sometime during the last summer. The last 2 years, we've had problems with one of the restaurants with loud music on the weekend. And residents complaining about the noise, and I believe it was in, Vice Mayor neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yes. and-
So generally, your commercial is a little different setup. Usually the counties is 10 p.m. So usually your commercial places like Olive Garden, or Ale House and some other places. It's been standard practice in the county that your commercial properties are allowed to have the music, to a certain period of time. So, and that's something we're gonna sit down and discuss with the board, so they understand a little bit of everything. When we're talking about nuisance, that's one thing, noise ordinance is not, it's a nuisance, but it kind of, there's a fine line to it when we're talking about criminal activity versus more of a civil act to some degree.
Can you speak to whether or not there have been any, I guess the frequency of nuisance complaints that we've had in the last, I mean, considering how long you've been here, in the last 6 years since this board was established?
And it is varied. There is one particular address that I'm familiar with that has periodically been noted. They have been spoken with on several occasions. So our attempt now is to just get directly with the owner to advise them of what's going to happen in the future. The particular address that Councilwoman was talking about, they're no longer here. They've since I guess moved out of the area. Have to pick those business. And the other ones we're still addressing as they come. Sometimes there are private setups that happen, so we deal with those accordingly. But I will say this, that from a thorough mindset, I think we do a very good job. We do make our best to attempt. They're on schedules, the guys know on night shift where to be, and I'm prepared about that. I do listen to citizen input, so I'm approachable with that, and I continue to take that under advisement and track on that.
So I think too, I think the noise at this time, it was like on a Sunday. And it's just me. If I can't sit in my house and enjoy and just sit down, and then your noise is rattling the walls of my house, it's absolutely too far. I don't care who they're coming from, if it's coming from a club or whom, but you have to realize that the Front Street is commercial, but then we have some older residents. Well, I'm gonna speak for me. I don't wanna hear that stuff. You can play your noise, but do it have to be that loud?
Well, as long as you continue to make the laws, we'll continue to enforce the laws.
Okay, cool beans.
That's how that
Cool beans.
Ms. King?
Yeah, and just as a point of clarity, the nuisance abatement hearing officer is appointed by town council. So whoever the recommendations are will come before you for a decision. And as you read in sections 2.187, it also let you know the requirements of the officer being based on professional experience in the areas of law and property rights. And so in appointing someone to that role, they would need to meet the requirement, but they would have to come before the council for approval.
And I understand that there are separate sides of the tracks with noise ordinance and nuisance abatement. But Vice Mayor, I think you brought out a point, the dense nature of the community with residential streets being very close to commercial streets. I would ask that in our consideration, we remember that we are trying to respectfully and considerately trying to drive attendance into the town of Eatonville. We have development coming up down the line. We have we want walkability on our front streets. We want entertainment to come into the town. We have festivals year round. We want to be considerate of those things, even if it means that within that ordinance, we set some guidelines, we set some leeway, we set some measures of some metrics and some measures to go by, because I can sit on Eaton and say it's too loud, but does it actually meet the criteria, ways to navigate that, and then the rights and responsibilities of the residents as well.
I understand.
I concur, because I think, due to a heritage and cultural environment, being, the community that we are, you know, you're gonna have music, and I wanna see that. I welcome that, you know, especially when we wanna move forward with, perhaps putting, things that's gonna make sense in terms of, you know, taverns, bars, restaurants. You're gonna hear the music. Like if you go to all these other different municipalities, it's music being played, you know, it doesn't bother me per se, and I can't speak for other people. But I think moving forward, if we're gonna do anything to bring entertainment to this town, it's gonna consist of being some music, some type of way, you know what I'm saying? So, I do, wanna, you know, value, Vice, Mayor, Thomas' opportunity to, you know what I'm saying, get what she want, but at the same time, though, I think we need to be mindful of everything that we're trying to do in terms of turning that new leaf to bring, entertainment to this community as well. If we're gonna sit here and not want noise, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? We're doing ourselves injustice and the citizens by, a majority of the citizens. If I guarantee you, if you get a survey, they welcome it, you know? And I think it's a certain time that it does tone down, but it's not like it's an all night.
Yeah, according to, and I'll get with the planner, I think according to code, if you have a special event permit and all that, it's to 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, right, chief, it has to cease. It's 9 or 10, it's one of those times.
It's 10 p.m., but most of everything happens here is done by 9, but yeah, it's so.
Okay, it's not so much as I don't mind the music. I don't like half the lyrics of the music, and I don't think that. I don't know if I can say that. I don't think any song you say you're gonna call a woman a bee, or you're gonna call a man a this or dog or whatever. Well, the point of it is that something that we really want to be, you know, play your music, but you don't have to use that type of verbiage. And I'm not knocking anybody's music. I love music sometimes, but it's the wording. I think that, you know, we need to be a little bit more respectful of ourselves and the community.
Remember now, it's a noise ordinance, not a word for it.
But we need to put that in there because I just don't.
First Amendment.
I got you, okay.
For the police out.
I got you. I got you.
I love you, Fox.
I do, I like it. So let's go to the next one. I'm good. We'll discuss that one.
But for the purpose of, and I will yield to you, Madam Clerk, for the purpose of a discussion or maybe even a review of the noise ordinance, maybe we do need to have some conversation. Maybe we do need to invite the community in so we can maybe get a pulse on.
Yeah.
Y'all better not.
Yeah.
Still on the west side of the head, Club Eaton. Okay, was that all from?
Yeah, that's good. I'm good.
Did you have anything else on that item? Okay. Any other comments from the dais before we move on? I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, kiss me, please.
What I want to revisit my question is, what is the desire and the will of this council in terms of activating this board? What I think I'm hearing is we're not ready for the board because there may be some changes in the ordinance, especially in light of the noise. Or is there a separate ordinance, or you're gonna put language into the current ordinance that will cover noise? And then I think someone encouraged the council to review and bring back changes. So in order for you to change your ordinance, it has to go through a first and second reading, which means we won't be ready to activate a board. If we do decide to move forward with the board, they will be hearings based on what the code currently says. And then we can change it at a later date. So there's two options. Either we wait until you get the changes.
We can work with what we have, but then, you know, we can make changes.
Because it stipulates it in about noise on this. It says
Yeah.
in the actual ordinance, it talks about nuisance abatement, it talks about 50 fees and all that kind of stuff.
So we do want to move forward with going ahead to get this board activated. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yes.
And for the audience, these applications are available right now. If you need to, you can reach out to the clerk to apply. And she will make sure that you know what the requirements are.
Now, I can reach out to those who were on the code
Yes.
enforcement as well as the board of adjustments to offer it to them, and if they're not interested, definitely we wanna consider others. If you have recommendations of people It tell you the type of people that need to be on the board as well.
Quorum is four.
Or
Yes, a quorum of four, or seven. It really doesn't speak to alternates, so you can probably do as many alternates as you want. But we need to have, at least seven active and minimum four.
So in the meantime, we can simultaneously work on bringing the ordinance for review and or revision and still actively accept appointments to that board. No business can be handled until they have at least a quorum anyways, correct?
And we need to establish an office.
And establishment of an office.
well, they determine office, I think, when I read, once that board is convened, they determine who's the chair and the vice chair, but you said all, the office.
I'm talking about the new debatement office.
Officer from the police, from PD, talking about. Right. But that would be the person that would investigate, and then they'll be the ones that are moving forward. If they don't see any justification, then they pretty much halts it and go forth again.
Right, and the procedures are in the document that tells you what happens when a complaint is brought to the officer and what steps are taken from that point.
All right. If we are done with that item, do we have any council decisions? All right, it's like we are ready for reports. Start with staff.
Mayor Council, so kind of lifting things, and I'm gonna save one for last. I know there's been a question about legal, and actually me and Councilman Matt was talking on the side also. I will say that RFP did not go out. Ultimately, it's gonna lie with me, but there has been some staffing issues, but it's on me, but it will be complete. We have the scope of work and all that stuff. I have access to the system, so that will be going out.
That's already on what?
It's going out RFP.
What?
The general counsel
The
are.
general counsel.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
But
So-
when,
We will have it completed by Wednesday. Tomorrow, we're shooting to have it back up. Miss Gibson gave me access to the portal to put it in. Attorney Shepherd had already provided me all the scope of work and all that. So it lies with me that will be handled. Another issue, as you all seen tonight, and just want to get some feedback from you all. Me and Ms. King, the clerk, talked about, there's been I think we said over 20-some meetings since
March 17th.
March 17, 20, 30 some meetings. So that's why, as y'all see, the minutes are running behind. It takes a lot. We are looking at using AI to help facilitate, but then they still have to go back and listen to figure out and all that. So a recommendation that we're talking about is we want to run minutes, really like a month in a whole to give to you all, so we don't have delays and they can adequately go through. As everyone know, once these live versions are going, you can always go online and listen to yourself too if you have questions or whatever. So I just want to get some feedback from you all on how y'all feel about that, because they're still adequately working on not only the town but the other CRA agency trying to get caught up, and they swamped. So
Comment.
How works for me?
I think that, I think it was very untraditional to have that amount of meetings. We had maybe like 7 months worth of meetings in 2 months. If we're being quite honest, if we're talking about our typical 3 meeting a month, we had about 7 months worth of meetings and plenty of business to handle at that time, talking about a transition period. I don't anticipate that pattern will continue. If you're saying a month out, you're talking 2 to 3 sets of meeting minutes.
So everything that we're doing in May will be provided by the June meeting, second meeting in June. Is that kind of what you're talking about, Ms. King?
Yes, so the meetings that take place in the month of May, we will have those transcribed in the month of June.
Okay, well then can we make space for the council to have the opportunity to review those? I know we get our packets, thank you, Madam Clerk, a week in advance. But if you add an additional set of minutes that a council member might want to take time to review, and can we be flexible enough to say maybe let's leave the meeting minute approval for maybe the last meeting of the month, if we're gonna go in that direction to give everyone an opportunity. Maybe we get them at the top of the month and then prepare to approve them at the end.
I'll leave that to the person that's
So I'll
transferring.
yield to that recommendation, and just for point of clarity, I know that we've had several meetings, I think it's been more than 20.
Yeah.
But it is not it is normal for us to have more, because we have a lot of special meetings, even beyond what you have experienced coming on as the new mayor, especially around budget time.
Oh, yeah.
We have several meetings, those meetings have to be transcribed.
And not only the historic preservation, all those other boards, they have to do all those minutes as well. So it's a lot for two people to try to cultivate and have accuracy and all that kind of stuff.
And then also, in addition to that, realistically, when we have one meeting, like tonight, we're having a meeting, we're prepping for the next meeting.
Correct.
There's no way we can turn those minutes around to make those packets. So that's why you see that the minutes are not included in the packet, because of the policy says that you all have to have your packet a week in advance. Well, when we're getting done with tonight's meeting, we're prepping for the next meeting, you know? And so it just does not give us sufficient time to have those minutes to you by the next meeting. So if we can, you know,
Space it out a bit.
space it out, whatever minutes, just have them available that next month.
Makes sense.
Do we have any opposition to that on this board?
Also, I've heard you all, especially at part of latter year, we talked about budgets and, costs. I know one of the main things we've been facing is insurance. So, we're already in negotiations and I'm creating competition. So I know we're using FMIT right now for our risk management, and towards that, we do have someone else that's coming in that's offering services, so we'll be able to compare. So we're not waiting to budget time to do this. So we have that going on, as well as health insurance. We have some people that's paying health insurance for a family anywhere from $1,200 to $1,800 a month. So we're looking at different opportunities to be able to really make that happen and to make it more effective for us. Had a meeting today with Ms. Mundy and the sidewalks. I know Councilman Mack, you always talk about this. So sidewalks will start June 1st from the corner of College and Kennedy. It's going to go down College, turn on to Ruffle. From Ruffle, it's going to turn on the west. From west, it's going to go around to Franklin Bote, go down Fitzgerald and all the way, and we'll go all the way around to where it connects with Maitland. They're projecting, and also that comes along with more signage gonna come on Kennedy, more flashing beacons, and all those things are happening. They're starting this June 1st. They're trying to have this completed before school starts. That's just for our section of what's happening. So that was pretty much finalized today on that meeting. As everyone knows, we've been having the questions. The widening of Kennedy is coming. I don't know if you noticed, the sign is up. Orange County BCC has put up their sign, and that's supposed to start around June 1st. So they're starting to pull permits. They're not starting in the town on June 1st. They're gonna go more towards All American, then they'll start working their way back. So that's happening. The other question that has come up is dealing with code enforcement. If you all know this down there, that little cut through path going to Walgreens. Thank you to Chief. A phone call went to the county. Within 24 hours, they were in town, cleaning up all, I think they said, was it 4 trucks? How many trucks that they had there? It was 4 trucks of tires and mattress and everything. Also, there is a small city in there. I think they've gone through and started clearing the city out. There's people living in there, babies and everything else living in there. So they were very careful going there. PD provided assistance. They went down the park, because if anybody know about homeless camps and stuff, you can't just walk in there thinking you're going there going to do something. They will defend their area like you defend your house. So it was tents up in there, and I'm talking about the picture I seen. I think it was at least 5 or 6 kind of homes in there with people that's living in it. So just give you that heads up. There was talk about putting a fence up. But because of the widening, Orange County had said they were gonna put $50,000 out there to put a fence up, but because of the widening, it's not a good use of money. Because they're gonna be utilizing that and all that kind of stuff to widen and all that, so. Also, we should have a selection for code enforcement, that part-time officer, that position is being filled too, because there's a lot of things starting to happen. So they had a panel come together, so that should be filled within the next week. The consultant that was hired for HR, because we know our personnel policy is a mixture of policy that hasn't been updated in at least 20 years almost. It's being updated along with job descriptions, along with pay compensation. The person and their company that's doing it, they actually used to do HR for Orange County government. So there used to be a director there, so they're working on that. It's actually going to take approximately probably about 3 months to get through everything, but that's in the works. Also, the 50,000 that was hired for the extra person in finance, our what's the people called? Heather, our auditors. Our auditors have provided 2 individuals to us that deals with municipal finances. They have a lot of experience in it. They will have a recommendation to us by mid-June, and they're gonna come in and help us get our finances and stuff situated, make sure we can come off of that list, make sure we're actually in compliance with everything. We need to look at a date for a retreat in June. So that will be coming towards you all for a retreat. Last 2 things. I was informed by Mr. Johnson, the CRA, the night market is going in partnership with the CRA. So come June, that should be the last night market on town property in the parking lot. They're requesting that they're gonna move it down to West Street in between the club and the daycare, and they're gonna use CRA lots down there for the night market. What they're talking about putting in for the permits to be able to close the road off between the nightclub and the fenced in area. That's what they're talking about moving the night market to. So I just want to update you all on that. That's supposed to be going to the CRA board also on Thursday, but from the town side, I want to let you all know that we have been talking about that, and then we'll be bringing it back if there's going to be any MOT and road closures and all that type of things. Last thing, there's been a lot of talk about CRA due from and all that. I will tell y'all, we have had probably 15 to 20 hours of sitting in rooms trying to figure through all the stuff. You know, there was a question on their side that there was 322,000 preliminary right now, as of today, working through all that, including the money that was recouped from the town for payroll for all those years and all that. It looks like the CRA may get a net of $22,000. After all the checks have gone back and forth and all that, it may be a net of 22,000. That's through the month of May, not including this last paycheck that's getting ready to hit this month. So it really be a due to that will be giving them a net of roughly about $14,000. That's where we stand right now. There's still a couple other questions. And the last thing was on today, also in that meeting with the CRA, because this is the town side, I have to present it from this side. There's been some questions, and the CRA is going to bring it towards the town from 1997 to 2005. They're stating that payment was not sent to the CRA from the town side. And this information, they say they collected from the tax collector's office. And that amount is $892,083.46. Possibility that a penalty could be added of 5%, which is 44,605.17, which they would say will be due to them of $936,687.63. So what I'll be saying is that we'll probably be having individual meetings, and then we would definitely need to workshop this, get some guidance from the attorneys on this to see how this fulfills. And I'm also will be contacting Orange County on tomorrow. And that's our report.
I have no report.
Attorney Fisher?
I just have a report on the defendants settlement agreement. I just need you, Mr. Daniels, to sign off it by June 4th. So I get it to you.
Attorney Shepherd?
I have nothing new to report. I am continuing to try to be available when I'm needed, and will continue to do that until y'all have a permanent replacement. And if that's Miss Fisher, that's lovely with me. She's fine. So I want to make sure you guys are happy. And if I'm available, I'll be there. It's hard to be available right now because I'm super busy, but I'm doing the best I can. And as long as I am available, I will show up.
And I will say that Attorney Shepherd's firm have been working on the other code enforcement issues. You all know we're pushing forward with that foreclosure and all those other things. So I have told them they're still working on that because we can't stop that stuff from happening on that.
Councilman Mack?
All right, good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's well. Thank you for being engaged in town business. Do appreciate you coming out. This, the top of the list is, my condolences to anybody that have, suffered in the loss, rather closer, far. I know I just suffered a loss on, this past Monday, it's like family, her name is Tamara Jones. She died in an accident. I'm pretty sure you guys seen it on the news, right on John Young. So just keep, family in prayers if you can. My condolences to the, family. And also, thanks for all the presentations tonight. Also, Michael came in and did his presentation with the water and sewer. I'm excited about that because I think it's something that we definitely should have been pushed a long time ago. So hopefully we can get to a better place and making that come to full fruition as well. And also, I strongly recommend that we appoint someone to the CAB board. I know I spoke about it on the last meeting. It's a very prestigious board. I had an opportunity to sit on it, actually on the first elected official to ever chair that board. And it was a great experience just sitting up there, just getting all the input and how, government really works in terms of, the poverty and things that we deal with throughout Orange County. So, and it's an Orange County board, and then they have a board in each county. So it's abroad, it's a lot of them. But I would definitely recommend someone up here besides myself to, if Mr. Daniel, you can reach out to Orange County and kind of make that happen. It'd be a great board for someone up here to sit on. So hopefully we can get someone up there to actually do that. And then also I got a cleanup day that's coming up. Myself and Chief partner out like we do every year. I'll be doing a cleanup day, and what that consists of is anybody that have anything inside or outside your home that you want to get rid of, other than hazardous materials, please set it on the curbside on that Saturday, which would be June 6th. And we'll have a trash venue, which is Waste Pro, go around, make a couple of sweeps and picking everything up that you guys want to toss out. And then also we'll have a canister on the east side and the canister on the west side, which is in Catalina Park. So if anytime you feel the need to throw something inside that can, just make sure that it's not any paint or anything hazardous that could cause any harm in our community. So I'll be having the flyers for Zanara already made by Chief hand out. So be looking out for that also. And I appreciate the Chief for partnering with me with that as well. So let me see. I want to make sure that I know I spoke about this earlier with the reimbursement possibly. I just want to kind of get some kind of explanation, if someone can give me some clarity on why we are not able to disperse the reimbursement out or either a credit out to the citizens because of the error that we made as a town due to it actually. So you don't have to answer me now, but if you can kind of like email me or sit down with me and kind of explain that to me, that'd be very appreciative. Also, DOJ, I'm very concerned about when would be the actual opening of the DOJ Community Center, Police Center down in Catalina Park. You don't have to answer me now. You can kind of shoot me an email. I know we're supposed to sit down and have a meeting. I do apologize for not being able to meet with you, but I'm willing to sit down and have a conversation about any issues that I may have. But that's one of the top of the list right there. The police center, when we're going to be anticipating an opening. And also, I had an opportunity to and I encourage anybody, man, this is what, we don't have a lot to do in Eatonville, right? And we're trying to establish something that could bring something that's gonna make a lot of sense. So what happened this past Sunday, which was great, we had what you call Social Sunday, and I thank Darius Washington, who's our recreation director, for just having that envision to bring something to implement that in our community too, because it was a great time. It's only for adults, but it was a great time to just get out there, socialize, and just let your hair down. You know what I'm saying? No kids, you just relaxing. And we're also doing something that's going to be beneficial for the town too, because I know 50% of the people that look like us, be particularly Black, that can't swim. So it's a great opportunity for you guys to get out there, and we have lifeguards on duty that are actually teaching people how to swim. And that's real big in our community, because I know we have a lot of drowning throughout America on an annual basis, and we trying to cut that as much as we can. So please get out, and we're going to do it monthly. So please get out and participate in that gathering, which is called Sunday Social. So look forward to seeing everybody else out there next time. Also, everybody for the National Historic Preparation Board, and then also public work. Yeah, listen, what I'm saying, you guys, we appreciate everything you do. You keep this community clean, because anytime I'm having my cleanup day, it's a lot easier to do now because of the community being so clean. So my hat's off to Miss Monday and her staff for always doing a tremendous job and making sure that we're doing everything to make sure that we're safe, especially with the roads. I know we don't have the best infrastructure when it comes to roads, so we're trying to go down a path to make sure that we're facilitating that. And I'm pleased with the sidewalk also project that's gonna be taking place June 1st, that, put a joy in my heart just to know that. But I know we gotta definitely tackle the west side, which we have in the past, but we gotta do more to involve that. I know we got the widening of the road, which I'm excited about it too. So we're turning a new leaf, and I'm excited about a lot of things that are coming down the pipeline. So thanks to everybody that was associated with that. And my question, of course, would be to Attorney Shepherd, or whoever, and that's something else we'll talk about too in terms of the attorneys that we're dealing with. Do we have any lawsuits pending against the town of Eatonville?
Sir, I don't keep up with that anymore, and I'm unaware of any. But since I'm no longer the town attorney, I do not keep up with that anymore.
And then I do anticipate on speaking with you, Attorney Shepherd. I know I'm supposed to sit down with you, but I do anticipate on speaking with you moving forward. So hopefully we can have that sit down and have that discussion. So I just leave that like that, if I can. And I'm almost finished, y'all. And yeah, just a big shout out to COBA. I know it was an organization that came into the town. We had an opportunity to give citizens that served in the military and did her due diligence in serving this town and protecting us. Miss Sergeant Goldie. Yeah, so salute to her. And if anybody missed that, man, you missed a treat, man, just to see the joy and just so many people that really care, man. There's people that really care about this community, man. We just got to make sure that we're doing our job on this side and make sure that we bring in that capability of people helping us. You know what I'm saying? And it's not every day that people give a house away. And she had an opportunity to get a house, and the emotion that she had on her face brought tremendous joy to me to see her get that, because she's well deserving of it. Not just because she served in this country, man, but just helping our citizens, and also let me speak about this will probably be one of my last things. The infrastructure that we're going to be dealing with Winter Park possibly coming through here. I need to know a little bit more how we're gonna move forward with that. I know it's a, very, tedious thing that we're gonna be dealing with because of the infrastructure that we're gonna be having going on ourselves. I wanna make sure that we're, not interfering with anything that we may have on our end that will interrupt what they could possibly be doing with their infrastructure coming through Kennedy. So, if you can speak on that, you don't have to do it now. Kind of shoot me an email and let me know what's going on with that. And last but not least, happy 101st birthday to, Malcolm X. I am a fan. He stood for a lot by any means necessary. And when it comes to, people trying to take our rights away, we got to be very attentive to everything that's going on in this country, not just on the local or state level. We got to make sure that we're paying attention to what's going on the national level too, because it's going to take all of us to get involved and make a difference, because they're trying to change the trajectory on how we do things as a government and how as a people, and we fought way too hard to let anybody come in here and interrupt that. So with that being said, that's my report. Y'all have a blessed night.
Councilman Miranda. Thank you. Want to thank everyone for coming tonight, and I really miss you all. I've been gone for a while. I took a trip to well, actually it was to New York, but we went to so many places. I was gone away for at least 9 days. But anyway, I'm back, and I do have some concerns. I'm trying to get caught up on a couple of things. Okay, first of all, I'd like to talk about, first I'd like to say thank you, Miss Monday, for a wonderful job in doing the water and sewer infrastructure to the public. We really enjoyed that yesterday. I think it was very important, very a lot of good information. Wish that we would have had more residents to come out to that. But also, I'd like to say that just as an opportunity, I did call Mrs. LaBonda at the chamber and asked her if there was any way in the future, if there's something that comes up that we need to meet with the individuals down on the West End, because I know sometimes they may not want to go to the Denton Johnson Center and maybe want to be a little bit more comfortable in their environment where they are, that the chamber will be open. So she had asked about what make arrangements with her, and she did invite that in, so that way if you need to, for any reason, just want to have a little small talk with the neighborhood residents that we have, it'll be more than welcome, so we can make those arrangements. And thank you, Ms. Lavonda, for extending that invitation. We appreciate that very much. Okay, I do have a couple questions and very concerns. I know we were talking about a lot of things here in the last couple weeks, a month, and we all getting our schedules filled up with all the accountability issues that's been before us. But some of the things I want to talk about right now or mention, and that is, where are we? First of all, where are we with Dr. Phillips? Are we anywhere with Dr. Phillips? I'd like to ask that to you, Marlon. Can you give us an update, please?
So Councilwoman, at last meeting I stated I have had a talk with Dr. Phillips. They're still open to having individual meetings, and they will come back collectively. Right now, they're still in the due diligence phase with Orange County Public Schools. So that's the only update that I can have. They have been doing their due diligence and dealing with making sure that they have everything in order to fulfill what they're supposed to do with OCPS.
Okay, now you had said they want to meet, I think you had mentioned that before, that they want to meet individually. I think they should be able to meet with us as a council, as a board, and not individually. I think it's very important because all of us need to hear the same concerns or questions that we may have. And then we need to also hear the same and similar to what they have to the town council. And I think that's being very transparent. And that's very important.
So am I hearing this is your recommendation that you all want to meet collectively first instead of meet individually before coming in?
They need to come before the council.
Yeah,
With
that
the
way,
council.
that way we have more engagement with the community as well.
Yes, we will have, I'd like to hear what the other council members, their concerns. For concerns may be indifferent for what they have and vice versa. So we need to be very open so that way the public can know exactly what our concerns are. And we need to know what their concerns are.
So besides what they, presented before, what information would you like for me to relay to them that, for them to come and be able to talk to you all about?
Well, if they wanna come and talk to us individually, why can't they talk to us as a council?
So from my,
So that should be the council decision, not that what they want from us, but what we would like to see from them, because if we're gonna be transparent about this whole situation, then there's nothing should preclude them from not coming to talk to the council. That has been a problem before. Because some time ago, they said that they were not going to talk to us, okay? That this was between Dr. Fellows and the Orange County School Board. And we're not trying to pick a fight. We're just trying to be transparent based on what they say, what they're going to do.
so Councilwoman, I can take that back. To my understanding, me having a conversation with them, they wanted to have the individual conversations. And then I guess they were gonna come back collectively and address it all and then put it all together to see what y'all wanted together. But if you wanna go the reverse approach, and that's what y'all agreeing upon,
Yes.
I will reach out to them and see when they'll be available. And I'll notate to you all.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot more suitable because especially with the committee that they've already created that we had nothing to do with. And then you gotta still think we have no agreement with this. We're not even in the equation of it. You know what I'm saying? This is a total agreement between the OCPS and Dr. Phillips Foundation. And that's more important than that. They need to come up here and answer a lot of questions that need to be had, especially for me, my perspective. So I can't speak for everybody else, but for me and my community who I serve, I want these answers to be addressed publicly while everybody can be engaged in what's going on.
So I will say to that agreement is between them. The town will be, and I guess that's why I guess they want to have this conversation, but we will start getting involved with it when they start getting into, and Tara and I have been talking about that. So I'm gonna have Tara the planner come back to start talking about how that process works.
I got a different perspective. We're gonna get involved with it now. We're not gonna get involved with it when they want us to get involved with it. We're gonna get involved with it now. I don't wanna sit here and tackle anything that I could tackle later. I wanna be proactive as possible. I'm a proactive type of guy, and I don't wanna sit here and put anything behind me saying we'll deal with it later. Why deal with something then when you can deal with it now? That's my perspective. That's how I look at it. I don't wanna do any private meetings with them. I want my citizens to know what's going on just as well as me. Why they won't be, because they are the real CEOs at the end of the day. And then on top of that, and I'm gonna be closing with this. They say they've had a lot of engagement with our community with all these different meetings that we apparently had. That's not true. And we got to get more people to come and be engaged in what's going on and what's at stake. And I want to make sure that we're not putting the cart before the horse when we're dealing with all these different things, especially with us not having an agreement with them. That's problematic to me. So I can go on and on, but I agree. I concur with Councilwoman Randolph with having them come before us and have the Q&As that are necessary.
Still, and I think it's a lack of transparency and just the forming of that board. And I know that perhaps we are not privy to, obviously, we're not privy to being able to, it's just how did that board come about? And we just didn't know anything about it. So I'm concur with Councilwoman Randolph and Councilman Mack in terms of the transparency. And it's like from day one, you know, they still continue to handle the business in such a way that we just don't have anything to do with it. So I would like to see them come before this board, and it's just still not sitting well. Period.
Okay.
And we've sat here, we said okay before, and we said okay, and we said okay, but we still haven't had any action. You understand me? Every meeting, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But still no action, it's just okay. And then when we meet the next month, it's okay. And we still just have not had a meeting.
And I know we're not privy to understand a lot of things that are going on either, especially with the lawsuit that is being handled with PEC through another agency. So I know it's a thin line between a lot of things that we can speak about. But I think more importantly to me is making sure that, the community is getting the engagement that is needed to, get a better understanding of what's going on in their community, because that's who I work for. So,
So to bring this to a close, I will have communication to you all tomorrow. I'll send an email to them tonight. I'll see if they're available for the next meeting, and then you all will have that, and then you all can facilitate. And I'll yield back to you, Councilwoman.
Board, please continue.
All right, thank you. Okay, also, at some point, I think it was maybe in January or February, we did have the council did ratify a resolution for a advisory consultant for this project here. Since this is, we know that this is one of the most major high project that we've ever had in our history. I'm going to ask that this comes back on the agenda since Mr. Matt Lawrence basically withdrew his contract for some reasons concerning third-party conflict. The way how that was handled, I thought was very disrespectful. Okay, and so I am going to ask for this to be put back in Ms. King. You've already have had the paperwork for that. So I'm gonna ask that this gets put back on the next agenda, the upcoming agenda. Also on the next upcoming agenda.
Can I ask a question, Councilwoman? So you want to
Yeah.
are you putting it out as a RFP or RFQ? Is that what you're trying to do? What?
We can do that unless the council has individuals that they would like to bring forward. We can put it out.
I think it's going to depend on whatever the dollar amount is that you all set there. You have to go by the procurement process.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll talk about that. I'll come in and we'll talk about that. I'll speak about that a little further. Okay, and also, I will be preparing a resolution for an advisory council for the town, for that, because since they have an advisory council, they moved ahead and they did that because we had agreed that we were gonna, I was assuming we were gonna be working on this together. But because that did not happen, they moved ahead and went ahead and did that without even giving us the respect or even recognizing us that. So that will be another resolution coming for the next meeting. Okay, now, the next thing that I would like to do is about, I know there's been some meetings that has been going on since I left. However, as far as everything we have talked about, even from the beginning, to it's all about accountability. I had asked a question some time ago, maybe you probably covered this tonight already. What does the town owes the CRA? And what does the CRA owes the town? Can you answer that, please?
we already did.
That's what I answered earlier.
$22,000.
22,000 minus whatever this upcoming payroll will be roughly 8,000, so it'll take it down to 14,000.
Okay,
But then they came up with something from 1997 to 2005.
That's totally separate from the other issue.
okay, now, with you making that announcement, is this public record? It's public record.
Yeah, it's gonna come on the CRA side on Thursday. So I just wanted to make sure from this standpoint, from this body, that this body is hearing from our standpoint what it is. And I will tell you in this meeting today, I told them I cannot stipulate to $1 million. I don't have that authority. So the CRA attorney was there and all that. I can tell you people that was in the room, but I told them I cannot stipulate and that I would bring that up to this body so y'all can be aware of what's getting ready to possibly come down on asking for 1997 to 2005 of almost $900,000.
Okay, when it becomes accountable, we are being held as officials accountable for every penny of the taxpayers' money. Okay, nobody's going to be forgiven at this at all, and they shouldn't be. All right, because we should know better. We should know how to manage. This is the reason why the people put us in office as legislators to make sure that we're doing the right thing. So I'm going to make a note of this and also be requesting the correct documentation to go with what I'm addressing now.
Yes, sir.
Right. Then the next one that I asked for, which I didn't get an answer, these are two other things here. pertaining to accountability of funds. And that is, give me the amount of the contingency funds that we have right now. And also I'd like to know how much money we have in our reserves.
Let me see Ms. Gibson, she would have those numbers. So you wanna know what's in contingency?
I'd like to know that, what we have in contingency. Get my information when I asked the last time, several weeks ago.
What's the other one you need?
And the
Reserve?
other one is, what is the amount we have in our reserves? And the reason why I'm asking that is because the town should be banking money. Banking money. We should be operating on a very small scale. All right, and I know we're trying to do a whole lot to make adjustments to the budget and all those kind of things, but I really need to, how soon can I get that information?
I'll say Ms. Gibson is available, Councilwoman. I do have budget and actuals to up until April, the end of April.
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
those are things that we're still working on and getting, and I take full responsibility for.
And if you can, make sure that every council member get a hard copy as well as an email. That way we can all have it.
Okay. I'm asking to see if
Did you say tomorrow?
I'll give Ms. Gibson, that number comes from her, so.
Do you know when I can get that information, please?
We'll get that to her tomorrow or by the end of the week.
Can I step out for a second, y'all? Get it.
Okay, tomorrow, okay.
Did you want to continue or did you want to wait till they came back?
The next one, I can wait, or either, the next one is about Holstein, which.
We'll probably need CAO also.
Let's,
Yeah.
you want to wait for the CAO on that one?
We can.
We have Miss Monday, but we can wait for both. Did you have any other items that you wanted to discuss in the meeting?
Yes, yeah, well, all of these are basically, I think the CEO, they just chime in, okay, comes.
I hear like this. Give me a second.
You want me to go on? If you would like to go on. All right, the next one I'll go into when he comes back, okay. The next one is, about host dining. Okay, we have yet to have a public community engagement about host time. There are so many residents that's asking questions about the AI data center. They're concerned about pollutants and the water, energy, and all these other things. When are we going to meet with the residents and the community concerning the host nine facility? And I'm gonna throw this out here and then I'm gonna go back and reference. Also, I am concerned
Question first,
about,
Councilwoman. Contingency and reserve, y'all will have the number by noon tomorrow.
contingency.
And reserve, you will have that number by noon tomorrow.
Okay, all right. I thank you very much, Mr. Daniels, for that. Okay, now I'm moving on to Holstein. We need to have a community engagement about Holstein. Also, we haven't received the updated information about the water, things of that nature that we need to know about. What are we doing about the noise level? We had just talked about noise, but that's a little different tonight. This is about the noise level and all those things that we need to be concerned about, the air quality, the utility rates. I'm hearing so many different issues concerning these centers around the country. So we need to get on board and let our residents be aware of what is going on. Okay, that's the first thing. The next is this. We need to, and I spoke to you about this a couple weeks ago. We need to have an ordinance. And the reason why, you had asked the question, the reason why, and that is to protect the town and to protect the residents. People like all of you all in this room here, we need to be better protected, and we do need to have an ordinance concerning this particular venture that we're about to enter.
So as we discussed, Councilwoman, and Attorney Shepherd, Attorney Fisher, I don't know who wants to jump in, y'all can let me know. If the facility has already been permitted, it's hard to go back and put an ordinance in place once it's already been permitted. Now, you talking about future, other data centers maybe coming in, or you talking about what's currently there? Because if someone is already, like you say, this land is available for public to be put public here, they afforded all of those rights because that's what was in place when they applied for the permits.
Well, let's let the attorneys work it out as to what we should get, because we need to have something to protect the people here. We can call it an ordinance, we can call it whatever we want to call it. But whatever we want to call it, it should be for the protection of the town and our residents.
I'm happy to speak to it if you want me to, or I'll just keep my mouth shut. So y'all let me know. So
Yes,
do,
you can speak for the shepherd. You can ask the attorneys.
okay,
Attorney
so
Shepherd?
yes, ma'am. So
Please.
data centers are huge users of resources. And for a town as small as Eatonville, that is extraordinarily noticeable. But if you've read or kept up with this at all in the media, you know that it's not just small cities or small towns that are having this issue. Actually, they are being targeted because typically they don't have all the regulations in place to address all the things that a data center brings to the table in terms of usage of resources like water and other things of that nature. And it is no accident that you've got a data center in a place like Eatonville, despite all the praise that went their way for bringing their data center to you. It is really the lack of knowledge or understanding of what that means in terms of impacts that is probably as much as anything what makes Eatonville attractive to a place like the data center. And that is why, if you do follow this, you'll know that there have been many attempts, and there are ongoing attempts to figure out how that can be regulated. And in many cities where they're being proposed now, there are huge public outcries about not wanting them to be in the towns or cities or close to neighbors and all of those other things for a whole host of reasons. Mr. Daniels is 100% correct. There's nothing that you can do now that will affect the one that is already permitted. And I don't know if it's completely CO'd or about to be CO'd, because I've been hearing the CO talk for a very, very, very long time. But assuming it's finished or very close to being finished, it sort of looks like it's close to finished. It's going to be what it's going to be. And candidly, it may be unlikely that we'll ever see another one. But to your point, Mrs. Randolph, it is absolutely appropriate to get something on the books so that if they do come your way again, you have something that you can use to try to address them from a zoning or usage perspective. I would hesitate to say it, but in the current size of Eatonville, I don't know that that there's room in this town for more than one of those. But that's obviously not my call to make. I no longer sit as your town attorney, but I am telling you that the concerns raised are valid and they're being experienced in many, many cities and towns, and a lot of whom are significantly larger than Eatonville. So if you wanted to put something on the books, that would probably be wise.
Well, I think in order to protect the residents that we have here, we need to put something on the books. We never know when someone else is gonna come here and they want the same thing. So we need to have something. But at this point, it does matter. We need to make sure that we have some education to the community. And if there's anything that the community needs to know in order to we need to protect our people so that way they can protect themselves and also the children. I mean, this can be, I have heard from other people who have these centers in their community, okay? And I was talking, just to give a brief, one lady that I know, her sister was saying that they were having problems, but it was a water issue. They had to wait until later on in the day in order for the water consumption to build up because the center was taking so much water, I guess, on the cooling. I don't think that's gonna happen here. But there's all kind of possibilities that things could happen. What are we gonna do? Put things in place if we had a problem with an environmental impact here from the center. What is the town going to be prepared to do? Those are the kind of things that we need to put in place, that we haven't done anything. We haven't done any preparation for anything with this building. We look at this big building every single day, all of us, okay? Several times a day. And there doesn't seem to be much of an issue that we're doing from the administration and from all of us as councils to be accountable. So let's just move forward.
Okay, so
And we'll talk about this and see what we can do. And not only that, but we also need something in place to make sure that we are protected by the utility rate change from these big companies, and they are not passing down their costs down to the residents. That has never been an issue. And the governor did sign, I believe he did sign a bill, correct me, Attorney Shepherd, concerning that.
It doesn't take effect to July 1st. If
July
I have an
1st.
ordinance, then it has to be comparable with what the government has already put in place to protect cities and towns without a.
Yeah,
So
okay.
there's no way we can get an ordinance in the time frame because 90 days it will take for it to get effect, correct?
It's effective July 1st. So our ordinance will have to align with what Governor DeSantis is talking about,
Mhm.
but the bill for April. So
Yes.
it's already been put out.
Yes.
Did you have another comment outside of the?
That
was, okay.
Okay.
Did you?
I'm not.
So, yeah, so
Okay.
Councilwoman also let you know, last meeting, I talked about this. They're still stating, according to CPH and all of this money can jump in. It's a one-time fill of 300,000. It's an inner circulatory loop, so it won't be keep refilling itself. It's a self-contained unit.
Mhm. Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. All right, next, now, I know we are closely approaching the budget. You all know, everybody knows that the post office is my pet peeve. Because that, agency there, or the unit, is just eating our lunch. Okay? And we've been running a deficit for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's time for us to do something. Everyone in the whole country, in the whole world, that postal service right now is not in a very healthy condition due to finances. You know, so they're making a lot of adjustments right now to try to stay above flow. We need to do the same thing. Okay, so we need to start making some changes, and I'm gonna make some recommendations, and I did this before. So I'm gonna come back and make some other recommendations that I think that what we may want to consider, okay? We can always keep the postal mail running, but we may not necessarily need a post office per se in the manner that we have it, because it's not productive. So a lot of places are getting out of the postal business because it's not a very profitable thing. All right. And I know we want to serve the public. Okay. But I also made some recommendations some time ago, which a lot of you all already know. And that would have been a very good location that you can still maintain mail-in services there, like stamps and things like that. Or maybe turn that building into a tourist destination shop. Catherine Alexander, since it's named after Mrs. Alexander, you know, a tourist destination, and that would be a great location for tourism. I just wanted to suggest, but I'll be making some hardcore recommendations for operations as far as the postal service.
I'll look forward to that, and I will tell you that we've already been scheduled within the next 2 weeks with Postmaster General in this area to deal with that situation of talking about the post office.
Okay, all right. Now, did you get a chance to ask for that documentation that I asked for? And that was, I wanted to know how many boxes that they have, how much revenue have we taken in? Did you get a chance to find out that
I have
information?
not gotten that information back, then that's a part of the meeting that's coming up with the postmaster. They're going to financial analysis, and they're going to come and sit on top with us. So Ms. Gibson had already been talking with them about a week and a half ago. So their schedule, I think it's a new person that's in that area. She's coming in to talk to us about it and bringing the full report and analysis of the post office.
Do you know when that's gonna happen?
No, ma'am, I don't have that. But I know it's supposed to be within the next 2 weeks.
Okay, can you give me an update on that when that comes up, please?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right. I think that may be, okay, one more thing here that I have, oh yeah. Something else that we may want to consider, and I've been seeing this a lot, e-bikes and e-scooters. A kid was hurt at Lake Nona, I think it was sometime, maybe in the last week or 2 weeks ago. We may want to consider something like that, an ordinance for safety for our children since summer is coming up. That may be something that you may want to consider. I would recommend and maybe.
So Orange County had a meeting today, and their council meeting, I was present that, so, the sheriff's gonna get us all the chief to meeting on that, so I have something for you, so.
So you'll come back with something?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Okay,
And Orlando's doing it, I think, next week. They're bringing it up as well.
okay. I do have, I'm a little confused about the town attorney role that's being played between, Attorney Shepherd, and I'll address this, I did the other day. And I do have some other concerns of, the interim attorney status as to where we're going with this. And you had said before that you were gonna put something out by May 1st, but it didn't happen.
It did not happen because of staffing concerns and accessibility. It did not happen. I would tell you that we have not exceeded nowhere near what we've been spending at all. And we're working through it. And believe it or not, and I said this last meeting also, Councilwoman, we see just Attorney Shepherd, but what we don't think about is you got Attorney Holly, you have Robert, you have all those different people that's doing different roles. So a lot of times we see the face of Attorney Shepherd, but you got to think about what's going on in code enforcement. Miss Mundy, and I think she got quite a few contracts that's getting ready to come through the pipeline. He's utilizing different people, so that's why we're still utilizing Attorney Shepherd at the same time. If not, we will be falling behind on trying to facilitate all these different things and the amount of meetings and all those different things. So I'll feel free to tell me what your concerns are.
And if I may, cause
Well, what my concern is, this here, I know it was an emergency hire. I understand what that is, but I was just trying to understand what is the nature of the emergency. Because the reason was given to me was not really an emergency. Because the power of the voting rights for attorney on any level lies with the town council. Okay,
Not on every level,
okay, lies with the town council.
not with every level.
No, one second, no, I said
You
with
said
the
any.
attorney.
Yeah, you
With-
said
with the
any with the
attorney.
attorney. It's not any level. It's not every level that it lies with the council. The emergency level lies with the mayor.
Okay, I understand that.
Yes, ma'am.
As far as your rights as the mayor for an emergency.
Correct.
But that portion still lies in the hands of the town council.
Which is why the RFP is still going out and it will still come back before the board. It's not done yet. It's an emergency
Okay.
/ interim.
Okay, all right, but when we clear under an emergency is an emergency.
Yes.
And I didn't
No
receive.
council is an emergency.
I'm talking, please.
Yes,
Let
ma'am.
me finish. I did not see at that particular time the nature of an emergency, because at that time, that was not an emergency. Okay, but I just wanted to make sure that I clarify what we're doing. I'm still questionable about it. And Mr. Marlon, we can talk about it a little later on. I don't want to be here all night long, okay, addressing this issue. I just want to make sure that we're doing this and doing it the right way and utilizing and stating the terminology the way that it should be applied. That's what I'm concerned about. I know that the mayor, and I respect that, have the power, okay, to bring in other people or whatever. But when it comes to the town clerk and to the town attorney, that comes under the jurisdiction of the town council. Okay, now, if we need to bring in an emergency in, we bring an emergency first, but that is the rule of the town council, not of the mayor. Now, you have to show me something a little different than what I'm stating. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I need Stan to be corrected, I want to be correct. Okay?
I didn't want to interrupt. I want to make sure you're done.
Okay.
Okay, so I will respond before I let CAO Daniels respond. The nature of the emergency were the issues that he just listed. We have grants that are out. We have planning and zoning issues that have to be dealt with immediately. Lack of counsel is an emergency. That designation lies with the office of the mayor. That decision for emergency and emergency only lies with the office of the mayor. The interim decision and the permanent general counsel decision lie with this council, and I made that clear. We had that discussion, which is why you were provided the personnel policies and procedures, section 500, that spoke to the definition of that. They were put in the packet when we had the meeting at the top of April, sometime in April or May, when Attorney Fisher was brought in. Those emergencies were listed, they were discussed, those definitions were listed and discussed, and those authorities were listed and discussed. The lack of counsel when we had 2 ordinances on the agenda that got dismissed the night that they were scheduled to be discussed because we had a voluntary resignation by council constituted that emergency. We are behind the ball on the RFP process, which that CAO Daniels has already addressed. And so that is being addressed immediately, and we are still in the window that is designated by the policies and procedure to have that emergency hire in. You sat on this council for 2 emergency hires, and there was not an issue then because it was understood that the emergency was the lack of general counsel. So the emergency is in fact that, and that designation does lie with the office of the mayor. I am here administratively every day, as well as legislatively here with you. But administratively, the need for Holly, the need for Andrew, the need for Robert, the need for Attorney Shepard, the emergency need and interim need for Attorney Fisher were great. And there are some things that have happened in the last 4 weeks that could not have happened without legal counsel. Attorney Shepard's voluntary resignation opened the door for that emergency. That's why that decision was made. We still have a responsibility collectively, as you mentioned, to choose a permanent general counsel. That decision is still coming before this board once the RFP process has been, as you said, done and done right. It should have been started on the 1st. We have taken accountability for that. We have acknowledged that, and the process is still ongoing. So I encourage this entire board to not only be patient, but be diligent. That RFP will be going out. Encourage your attorney friends or associates or acquaintances to be on the lookout for it so that if necessary, they can apply and we can have those conversations collectively. But the appointment, the authority, the manner in which it was carried out was all correct. And it was vetted. I want to make sure that we're clear on that. Just so that this council knows that no decisions were made outside of any individual's authority. They were clarified, they were vetted by the attorney, they were looked at by HR, they were looked at by the CAO. We were confirmed that the emergency existed, that the authority existed, and that the decision could be made.
Okay, all right, that's fine, Mayor, that's fine. You explain yourself there, fine. I'll get another opinion.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank
Absolutely.
you, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much for explaining it. Okay.
Oh, she's still going. I'm sorry, because I want to speak about the attorney situation, but she's still speaking.
Oh, okay, can I just finish?
Being that on the top.
Also, the historic preservation proclamation, it would have been very nice if we would have had the members of the historic preservation board here to show our appreciation and recognize. I know that probably was an oversight, so the next time, we'll catch that on the next time. Thank you very much. And I'd like to say, I believe that's all that I have right now, but thank you all very much. I enjoyed my trip and I look forward to seeing you. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. Thank you.
I know I briefly spoke with the CAO about this situation, especially with the attorney situation. I know I was one of the ones that wanted to make a change with legal counsel, but I did see a difference in Attorney Shepard and how he was moving in terms of everything, having that concern with the town of Eatonville because he's still president. He could have easily walked away, right? So with that recommendation from me, and it's totally up to this council, and I know we got Attorney Fisher here on a temporary basis because of the emergency by the mayor due to her calling, but I would strongly recommend that we keep Attorney Shepard and not have Attorney Fisher until we can fulfill the need to hire someone permanently by putting a, RFQ or whatever we gotta put out to possibly, hire a permanent, attorney, because it doesn't make sense to have all these different attorneys here and, causing the taxpayers money. So I would strongly suggest that Attorney Shepherd then get put in this position temporarily until we can fulfill the need to fill it permanently, because he knows the ins and outs, he knows everything that's going on. He has an actual, farm. If he's not here, he can get someone to come in and sit in, because I can recall last meeting, Ms. Fisher wasn't here for whatever reason that was, but she didn't have anyone to fill in for her. Thank God that Attorney Shepherd was here. And those are the derails that we're gonna continue to run into if she's not able to make any other meetings. So I would strongly recommend that we put Attorney Shepherd in that temporary spot until we can move forward with filling that spot permanently. And, I don't know if that's, and I tried to hold without going down this path, but I think it'll make more sense for the community and this, panel to move forward with doing that, because it just doesn't make sense to have all these different attorneys everywhere and everybody giving their suggestion on this legal advice, that, and I would be more comfortable with answering and asking Attorney Shepherd versus, Miss Attorney Fisher at this point, because of the, longevity that he's been here and because of the experience that he's, had by sitting in that capacity also, even though, he gave me a different perspective of how he was handling business, but he's showing me a different side that I'm pleased with now. So I would strongly move forward with, what I'm saying, having him sit in that capacity until we can move forward permanently, filling that spot.
CAO, did you want to speak on what our responsibilities are now that the resignation has been submitted and accepted? And maybe then open up. We still have 3 council members that haven't spoken. If you want to address that right now, we can also get some clarification on, protocol procedure that would.
It doesn't matter if you put a resignation in or not, if that's something that we wanna do, we got that,
Why we
authority
want to
to do
make
it.
sure we
We got that
follow the
authority
right
to do it.
protocol.
Yeah, we got the authority to do it.
Yeah, so.
It's our authority as
Because I
council.
don't have a JD, I would have to sit down with Attorney Fisher, Attorney Shepherd, and I would say that we would have to make sure it's gonna be legally sounding. Because the Attorney Fisher is in here as emergency hire.
But she's not on the contract right now, is she? I'm saying, we can, listen, for me personally, I don't want her as the counsel for legal counsel. I do not want her sitting in that capacity as legal counsel.
So I just want to make sure that because we moved the way that we did, because the decisions on this panel, on this dais were made the way that they were, and we set things into motion with those decisions.
I don't like the disrespect.
Listen, what I'm saying is, I'm being very frank, because we made a decision as a board, that set some things in
We made
place.
another
So,
decision as a board.
and I'm just saying that when we make that decision, let's make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's.
And we're
If
doing
we
that.
have to wait the 30 days, then let's wait the 30 days and have the conversations in the meantime.
30 days for what?
For the RFP that we required.
Listen, you understand what I just said? Me, as a council member, and if I put a motion on the floor, whether it fail or not fail, I do not want Attorney Fisher sitting in that capacity. I've already stated that.
Right.
Because of the lack of respect for me,
Mhm.
for one. That's one of the top priorities.
I understand.
That was off the dribble. She showed a lack of respect towards me, not knowing who I even, like, if anything, I wanna sit here and help you in any way possible, but if you're gonna sit here and be disrespectful towards a council member sitting in this capacity and not even doing the scope of the work yet, why would I want you sitting in that seat? Why would I want you sitting there?
So the same way we had to put forth the resolution to require, to
And
request the
anybody that know
termination.
they sat here publicly
The
and
same
seen
way we
this
had to
meeting.
put forth the resolution, because we had protocol to follow, right? We had to put forth a resolution to request the termination. We couldn't just go in and call Shepherd and say, you're fired. It doesn't work like that. We knew we had to put forth a resolution, so we did that. I'm just saying, if that's the direction that this board wanna go in, that's fine. Let's just make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's so that we don't find ourselves in a position where we're liable for a decision that we made without following protocol. If we gotta wait the 30 days.
Let's ask the attorney, that's what
I'm saying.
attorney.
Give him the opportunity to discuss it with the attorneys and bring us back the option.
Oh, we can ask
So
them
we
right
can-
here in the phone, open.
We got 3 members. I won't be disrespectful to the rest of the members on this board.
Because I already
You
explained
and
on how I
Councilwoman
feel, I
Wanda.
never respect you as a
I'm sorry,
colleague.
Councilwoman Randolph. You and Councilwoman Randolph have had the opportunity to make your report.
Please, but I'm.
And that's why I opened up the floor for you to make your comment. I'm just saying, let's make sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's. If you need to go speak with the attorneys to ensure that the town of
I
Eatonville,
will not
town
deal with
council
disrespect.
has done their due diligence and making sure that we move forward appropriately, then that's what we're gonna do. We're not going
I
to
will
break
not
the
deal
law
with
up here.
disrespect.
And we're not gonna break the law either. We're not gonna break the law up
Breaking the
here.
law.
Breaking the law by not following
You got
procurement.
legal counsel here already.
That's
Ask them.
understood.
Ask them.
There is still protocol to be followed.
What's the protocol? Ask them.
Protocol
I'm not-
is wait until the conversation is had.
So. In the essence of what's going on, I mean, would it be an issue of waiting until the next meeting to allow time to talk with council in a private setting to come up with a solution? Cause I mean, we're at the end of this meeting anyway, so that's what I'm saying. It'll give time.
Me personally, I don't want Ms. Fisher sitting as our legal counsel.
Noted.
Just so you know, I'm Attorney Fisher,
Because-
not Ms. Fisher.
I said attorney Fisher.
Very obvious.
Okay.
All-
Understood.
This what I mean right here.
Yes.
This what I mean, the lack of respect.
Everybody stop
That's
talking.
what I mean.
Your report is over, Councilman Matt.
And this what I.
We are going to continue. And if you can't respect this, guys, you can leave.
You can leave also.
I don't have to leave. I'm sitting at the
I
mayor's
don't
seat.
have to leave.
You don't.
You
But
are
what
not
you
sitting
do
in the
is have to
same
be
capacity.
respectful. I'm gonna ask you again. I'm gonna ask you again. I'm gonna ask you again to hold your comment. Wait a minute, Vice Mayor. I'm gonna ask you again to hold your comment until we finish and you can reach the CAO. I'm not asking you to speak on your behalf. I'm asking you to hold your comment. I'm asking you to hold your comments until we're done with the rest of the members of the council.
Okay, good. I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting and
No.
we go home.
No, Vice Mayor.
I know it because, okay, I'm gonna do mine. I think as an adult and for sheer respect of the positions that we're in, to sit up here and act like we don't have to argue back and forth. When that thing works very well, and you should use it and make sure that they be quiet. Let you say what you have to say. You have your time for your report, say it. But when you allow this to happen, and I'm gonna say it, what's the use of arguing with someone when you have the control to stop it and let's move on and let's go on? So I'm not knocking anyone, but let's be adults, let's be mature, and if you're gonna handle it, don't give them a break, you handle it. So my report is, you were talking about the fence. So instead of them putting up a fence, can they keep the grass cut down so that they won't be able to go into that area, the homeless?
Yes, sir, that won't be a problem at all. They were really excited about going ahead and moving the fences. Just as soon as he put in the order to have it done, he was told to hold off because of fire.
Right.
I don't know if they're gonna be using part of that area for the truck parking or company, but he says not a problem cutting it on a regular basis.
Good, that's great. And most of my questions has already been answered. And the next thing is, I know that we're getting ready to do a lot of infrastructure thing, but the streets and the repairs, if you can't repair, can we at least get a street sweeper to come through and keep the streets at least clean or look good? Or maybe I'll get with whoever is the president of our group. Maybe we can, as residents, can get together and try to keep our streets clean and look good or something. But I'm really
I'm looking for that contract, Vice Mayor, because I know you and I have had that conversation, and I think the only thing that street sweeper do that I know of is once a month, and it only does the main street. It does not do the side streets and all that
okay,
stuff.
well, maybe we can get with the portrait leaders and they can get together and the
Yes, ma'am.
residents, we can try to keep our own community looking good. The mention of host dime, I don't have a problem with having a meeting, But don't have a meeting where we listening to the street committee. The street committee don't run nothing, we do. If you're not gonna come with facts and you're gonna bring the residents and everybody got an opinion, just like the news reporters got opinion, this one got opinion, come with facts. Otherwise, what's the use of having a meeting? Just like they say, we've already done it. And what my point is, why all of a sudden now, at this point, everybody want to talk about what Holstein's gonna do, how it's gonna hurt this and do that, and I want to protect. You didn't know that before then because I didn't just get in office today. This been going on for 6 years. So if it's a factual, lawful meeting, let's have it. But if you just want to get up here and gossip and run your mouth and talk about what someone else done, how this is done, how that's done, don't waste our time. And please don't waste the resident time, especially the ones that I represent. I don't think we want to hear gossip. We want to hear facts and we want to hear the law. And if you can't give us that, what's the point of having a meeting? That's the end of my report.
Councilwoman Ware Jordan.
All right, thank you all for coming out this evening. It's been a very productive and fruitful meeting. But I do have a couple of concerns. One of them, well, summer recreation. Y'all know the summertime is here. The kids are gonna be out and about. If somebody can fill me in on if we have any distinct programs for our kids for this summer.
I did meet with Mr. Harris last week. Me, him, Mr. Risha, and Officer Holmes actually went down to the Catalina area and we're talking, discussed some things. So I don't have their exact dates, but I know it's June till
June 2nd, I think it starts.
until the end of July, something in that manner. But we're gonna be working out where part of the day they'll be down on their end, and then part of the time they'll come down to Catalina and also home. We have a program set up where we do some things there back and forth, and some field trips that stuff is going to be signed up. But I don't have exact agenda because they're really in charge of it, but we're supporting them in it. But we're all collaborating together. Yes, there is something in place.
That is beautiful. And are the residents informed of it? If so, how? All right. That there's a distinction between the children that go to the Boys and Girls Club, and then you have those that do not attend the Boys and Girls Club. And I just want to make sure that all of the kids here are being included.
Yes, ma'am. And then also people get asked about to Mrs. Thomas at the leadership.
Okay, Ms. Thomas at the leadership.
Right. And how you will decide they can drop off supplies at the local daycares we have here as well, just in case we can support children.
And it's gonna include transportation, so we know coming from that end, they're coming up with a curriculum or a guidance, so for swim, they'll be able to go down and pick up the kids from Catalina, Lake Lovely, they have certain times, and they'll transport them down. They're also gonna be transporting them down for food as well, so they're working on all the logistics. Thomas Leadership Academy is also offering, I think, space and all that. So they should be putting together a full round thing. I don't have all the details yet, but we'll get it to you as soon as possible.
All right, so because I mean, today is May the 19th, and and school is out.
Wednesday.
Exactly.
Next week, Wednesday.
Next week,
Next week,
Wednesday, the 27th. Okay, so that is just my concern. If we don't keep our kids engaged, we know what could potentially happen. And we knew that this was coming, and I would like to see us be more proactive versus reactive. But thank you, Chief, for everything that you're doing and your efforts. I do thank you. Yes.
I do have a comment, and it is about our youth, but I know we always talk about the children doing this, but we have a lot of artistic children in our community
Yes.
that we need to work with and make sure that there is something for them to do as well.
Artistic.
Artistic.
There is a program that
I'm aware of those.
I
I am aware of that,
Yes, ma'am.
but she can't do it because the government's not paying anymore. So there are things that maybe we can look at that. I'm not saying paying them $100,000 or whatever, but if we could use these artistic children for different events, set up, take down, you never know what they may be able to do. But let's look at using our artistic children in the community also.
stress you're gonna have to stand for that as well.
Say that again.
staff monitor and help with that. But each one with subjects.
Yeah, I concur. And another thing also, we talking about the youth, but we also still have seniors. And I know that, Ms. Seeley, he does a phenomenal job with our senior program. But I'm not sure y'all correct, ma'am. Is she in collaboration with the town? Because what I know is that sometimes, she may not be feeling well, so they may not have a program. So like, I don't know if we get somebody literally from the town side to kind of help out. And no disrespect, but she is a senior as well. You understand me? So we should not be without.
So they have been doing that. They have been jumping in. I will tell you another program they have started is a lot of seniors from like the apartment complexes in that other end of town can't come down. So they're not starting going down to do bingo and games and giveaways down on that end to encourage them and engage them too for the people that can't come back, to this end. So that is being worked out with Ms. Parisha and Mr. Washington.
And they also, me and Lucille are collaborating, I can't tell it all right now, because
You don't tell.
we have a very special event coming up for our major seniors in the.
Okay, fantastic. And again, Chief, I want to thank you guys for going into the homeless area. But I do have a question. When we go in and we do the cleaning out, which is needed, thank you. Are we providing those persons with, like community resources and things of that sort, that could potentially help them move about so that they're still not like, kind of like on our streets? Are we providing, and do we have a social worker?
We have also, even though the neighborhood center families deals a lot with the individuals who are families, single family. We collaborate with them to those adults down there to make sure they know all the resources that are available. Because there are a lot of resources they don't even know. They also have set up a shower trailer to come, all that's coming up in the rear view. So I'm working with this
Okay, so just, and I'm available in that arena as well, when we're talking about dealing with, social work and mental health and all that stuff. I would like to get with you at some point as well in terms of bringing that salt, that mobile shower unit and all that stuff over to the community, so anyway, because I just want us to make sure that we take care of the community.
What you find is with some of your homeless populations, they don't want to do shelters or because they take their items from them because of bugs to whatever they bring in their station. So they don't want to lose what they have. So that's kind of sometimes a battle, but there's still available resources there.
And I know they don't want real structure. They like the freedom, and the mobility, and I do understand that. But I just want to make sure that we are provided with resources when we go into
That's why our officers now been given a resource sheet that they can take and just hand it out.
All right, well, thank you. I think that is my report, and thank you guys for listening attentively, and have a good night, y'all.
All right, I have a few things on my report tonight. Some of them have already been touched. I feel like y'all was looking at my paper, filling my stuff. So if I repeat something, I apologize. Couple events coming up. Life Cycle has an impact ride on the 30th. It's gonna be great. Be on the lookout for advertisements on the town's socials and in the lobby and on your doors and all the things. It's gonna be epic. Like Councilman Mack said, the Sunday social was a blast. I had a great time out there, even though I couldn't get in the water this time around. Alma Swim is a lover of Eatonville, and they show that through all the programming that they do here. The Department of Recreation does a great job facilitating those events. So thank you to Danielle, thank you to Mr. Washington, thank you to Ms. Parisha for such a great event. The adults have been asking since we reopened the pool, what is happening for them? And I think this was the first of what seems like it will be many. Councilman Max Cleanup Day is June 6th. June 6th is always a big turnout. Big names are out there getting down in the dirt with us. And so we look forward to more information coming about that. United Against Poverty is partnering with the town to do some food giveaways. I know we have a handful in the town. Let's just leverage all the resources that we can On May 28th, from 2 to 4 at the Denton Johnson Center, there will be some bags of goodies, some fresh produce. They will be talking about the services that they offer. They will be partnering with the town moving forward, so we can expect to see them on a continuous setup. So very excited about that. You again look on the socials and on the table in the lobby for information about that. The library did its historic preservation project at the Florida Library Association Conference, which was in Orlando this year. They were able to take their quilt project over for exposure once again. It was a very nice panel, very nice setup. Kudos to Miss Sarah over at the library, Miss Lisa, the quilter, Dr. Candace Finley, the program coordinator, and the panelists that participated. Juneteenth is coming up. We're about a month out. The town is hosting its annual celebration, its annual festival. It will be on June 20th, that Saturday, across the street in the Hungerfield. Be on the lookout for more correspondence and more advertisement for that as well. School is getting ready to let out, as we mentioned, next Wednesday. Let's be on the lookout for a safe summer. I heard mention of the e-bikes. We did, I know Councilman Mack was there last year for Gabby Day. There was another young lady in Deltona that was the victim of an accident on an e-bike. My classmate's daughter, as a matter of fact, and Councilman Matt's friend's granddaughter. And they hosted along with Life Cycle Club, they hosted an amazing resource fair that talked about not just bike safety, but pool safety or walkability. So I'm looking forward to that coming back into the town so we can keep our kids up to date, our adults as well. I heard the stuff about the sidewalks and the flashing lights, all of those things play an important part in making sure that our constituents are safe. So definitely going to be on the lookout for that. Graduations are coming up. I mean, I won't tell y'all what anniversary this is for me, but my graduation from Edgewood High School was today, about 4 or 5 years ago. And so kudos to all the children that are about to graduate. Travel and Leisure does the graduation scholarship program for our Edgewater graduates. They just gave out 5 full ride scholarships to 5 of our seniors. It's super cool. It's the greatest thing that you can offer to a kid going off to college is the lifted burden of the cost of college, and it's not getting cheaper. So kudos to those graduates that are getting ready to come out in the next couple weeks. Councilwoman Randolph, you're absolutely right. I wish we had thought to invite the Historic Preservation Board here as well as the Public Works employees so that we could properly love on them. And we owe a belated Police Appreciation Week to Eatonville Police Department. They had some good food over there last week. They got a hot love last week. Was glad to be a part of that. For Miss Monday, Industry Day. If you missed it yesterday, it was a treat. I want y'all to know it was a room full of representation. The first portion of the presentation was for contractors and different people in different industries that could potentially play a part in some of the activity that's about to happen with our grants, with our upcoming development programs, like what was had with the chamber for our business academy. Those are things that we're doing to be proactive, to put our people into position to take advantage of some of these opportunities that's coming down the pipeline. So if you missed it, I'm really, really sorry. It was just so good to see a room full of people that are professionals, that are good at what they do, that own businesses, that can provide these services. So I'm very excited about what that looks like coming down the line. Let me sneak through this. Condolences. I have a very specific one. Councilman Mack, I'm very sorry that your family is losing somebody very often. It almost feels like,
What happened when you got a big family?
oh man, I feel it. I definitely feel it. My father lost his father-in-law today. So condolences to the Critton and the Washington family out of Sanford. Such a impactful gentleman he was, and condolences to those who we are burying and to those grieving families. I'm forgetting something. Oh, the RFP and RFQ process. Councilman Mack, please don't take my comments as disrespect.
And listen,
I
I got this what you call.
I know, I'm glad. I'm glad we can have these conversations up
Yeah,
here.
that's what we up here for. That's why
Okay.
it's 5 of us and not 4.
So I would
We're not
dare
gonna agree
say
on
that,
everything.
I would dare say that it is important to me that this administration does. We've heard about the things that we've done wrong over the years. It's always, we didn't do this and we didn't do that and we did this wrong and we did that wrong and we took 2 steps back with that. Let's be proactive and just make sure we cross every T, dot every I. If there's a protocol or a policy or a procedure that we need to follow, let us make sure that we're informed, educated, and proficient
I
in
agree.
implementing that. So Councilwoman Randolph, you made comments about, bringing back Mr. Lawrence. And I felt on the other side of the dais, well, bringing back the conversation. And what I would like to say about that is that, again, not to beat a dead horse, but it doesn't seem like we did our due diligence across both boards. There were multiple boards that were involved with that decision, and it was a decision that was brought without consulting both sides. And so let's just make sure in moving forward, if we do want to have those conversations, that we ask our staff to get those RFPs and RFQs out so we can bring those people in. If it is outside of the procurement thresholds, let's make sure we just following the rules so no one can say anything about what the town of Eatonville is doing unless it's lit. Baker Barrios, I hear us talking a lot about Dr. Phillips, and that's great. 1 piece of property, 1.5. Let's talk about the rest of the town. Let's talk about the other 2 square miles, right? Baker Barrios came and they did some master planning workshops. And I heard I heard former administration on the other side of the diocese a number of months back talk about what felt like an incomplete process. So in addition to reaching out to Dr. Phillips, can we also reach out to Baker Barrios to see if they can come explain to us the blanks that were left unfilled, or the collaboration between the governing body, the community, on what master planning looks like? We know that Hungerford is the largest tract of land, but we know that we have a slightly bigger corridor. So in being proactive and thinking 5 generations out, I know they started that process. Can we get them back in here to finish that conversation? I think that might be fruitful for this board. Vice Mayor, you hit it on the head. Let us get vetted research by professionals, not TikTok University. There has been a lot of conversation about AI data centers. I will be the first to tell you that is not my ministry. That is not my calling. It's not much I can tell you except Chat GPT, and I don't even use that. So I know that we rely very heavily on Director Mundy. If we do need to get host time in, I concur with Vice Mayor. Let's come in with an open mind, even if we're holding feet to the fire, even if we're saying, hey, we understand that you're here now. How can you work with the town of Eatonville? It's not a bashing session. We want to invite businesses into the town of Eatonville, but we want to make sure that we're doing palatable business. We want to make sure that our business owners understand what we're looking for in this town and what we expect when they come into this town. Those impact fees are going to be huge with that. I'm excited to see that get implemented, and every neighbor tell a neighbor to come so you can hear what's being said from the horse's mouth, so that you don't have to wait till it hits the Domino's table to find out what got chopped off in the telephone. So you can come hear it from the horse's mouth, exactly what's happening, exactly what we can expect, so that as a collective community, we can hold business owners and the like to the standards that we set as a community. The post office, Councilwoman Randolph, I remember, and I know you remember me getting up there to that lectern. Captain Alexander is my great grandmother. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of the different entities in the town of Eatonville that give us identity. Our police department, our self-governance, our post office. We spend money, I won't use the term frivolously, but we spend money in this town on a lot of different things. So I do agree that there are ways to be proactive. I do agree that there are ways to be proficient and to be responsible with our finances. Let's have a very open conversation about what that looks like. We're stepping into a new era of delivery. Amazon and online shopping are kind of taking over things. So maybe it is time to have an updated conversation about the service of our post office. But I would dare caution us to not give away anything else that makes us an independent, incorporated municipality with the identity that we have. I think that those things are very, very important. all while understanding that we have a fiscal responsibility to the town. So I look forward to those conversations with you, Councilwoman, and the rest of this board, not just Councilwoman, the rest of this board. I'll end with this. Attorney Fisher, thank you very much for stepping in the heat of the moment. Attorney Shepherd, thank you for staying on board in the midst of rocky waters. And thank you for both of your services, for your counsel, for your insight, in places where we as constituents, as elected officials, as staff members lack knowledge. I think it's very important. Councilman Mack, I do hear your concerns. I just want to make sure that
Disrespect for me.
I understand. I heard
Like I
you.
said, I have no issues with her because I don't know her personally, but when you sit here and you address this council in a disrespectful way, I got a very serious issue with that.
I've heard I want to make sure you know I've heard your concerns. I heard them the
being
first time.
respectful, especially with me being respectful. You
I
know,
heard
I
them
like
the
what I
first time.
say, but I'm gonna be respectful.
I heard them the first time. I have not dismissed them. I carry them in my back pocket. I feel the same way. I don't want to be disrespected
I
either.
can't go to my job where I've been on for the last almost 30 years and be disrespectful towards any, and I'm on management team, to anybody that's my superior.
Understood.
Because if I did, you know what? You know what happens to people like that?
They get fired.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I understand. And I won't take that from you. I say let's have a conversation and let's make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's. If we have procurement policies in place that we are required to follow, let us ensure that we follow those policies to the letter. And if that's not necessary, then let's go ahead and have the vote. Let's go ahead and move forward. We want to govern ourselves. We don't want to give nobody a reason to come back and say they didn't do or they did this wrong. Let's cross every T, dot every I. CAO Daniels, if you can get with Attorney Shepherd and his firm and Attorney Fisher and her associates to ensure that we have what we need and ensure that the RFP goes out as quickly as possible, I can imagine that this board collectively would appreciate that.
ASAP.
That being said, I move for adjournment. Second, third. It has been moved in second. All in favor of adjournment, signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. We are adjourned. It is 9:42, Madam Clerk. Yeah, we should not. And I came to, going to